Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Smith. God, it's me, Mike Messier, Mike's Instant Movie Review, The Grove 2025. I'm sure there are other movies titled The Grove. This is kind of a mashup of a sci-fi and horror genre's film, and I'm trying to remember the names. It was two people. First name was a gentleman, Alicia White or Apanicia White, something White, and I think a female name, Patricia Kemp or some such thing. I'm probably slaughtering their names. I'm sure I am. Basically, it looked like these two people were the masterminds behind this movie. Mr. White also stars in the film as a military soldier who's been, he's volunteered, or he's sort of volunteered to be a human guinea pig for a study on making military super soldiers. Now, we've heard about this type of thing for decades. I think even going back to The Manchurian Candidate, which was a film, I believe, by Frank Sinatra, or starring Frank Sinatra, that he kept away for many years because of JFK and all these things. And we've seen things like, in the past, 30 years ago, Universal Soldier, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Dolph Lundgren, and then years later there's a sequel, I think, with the wrestler Bill Goldberg, who ruined Bret Hart's career, and all these things. And then you've got the familiar fun of the kids at the summer camp, or the kids at the campsite getting killed by the killer, which, of course, we think of Friday the 13th, right, with Jason Voorhees. Or actually, it's Michael Myers. Who's which one? It's Friday the 13th at the camp. Camp Crystal Lake. That's Friday the 13th, right? Yes, I'm getting my Michael Myers and my Jason Voorhees confused, as I often do sometimes. So what did I think? Well, I feel like this is a movie, really, if you're just a mainstream mark and you're just looking for pure entertainment, and you are used to the X-Men movies or the Avengers movies or all these movies with big budgets, you'll probably not enjoy this film, because it does have some trademarks of a lower budget film. I can see, if you were friends with the people that made this film, which apparently was filmed in Georgia, if you were involved in this film, and if you know, or if you are the family or friends of the people involved in this thing, you could go see this movie and say, oh my God, you guys are so awesome. You made a great movie. Holy shit, you guys are going to be big stars. I've been around this block a few times, folks. I've been to the local screenings. I've been a filmmaker, having made a film at local screenings. I've been friends with people who've done this, and it's a very familiar routine. The movie does look professional for the most part. I did have some trouble with my hearing, because I feel like some scenes had lower audio than others, specifically just the dialogue scenes with some of the characters. Maybe the actors weren't mic'd up properly, or they were using a boom mic that wasn't close enough, because there was a lot of party scenes and the dialogue got very hard to hear. And then other scenes were quite good with the audio. The picture quality was always pretty damn good. So I think there's some talented people working with these folks. They do seem to have a good team. And I feel my biggest prediction for the folks behind this thing, Patricia and Mr. White there, is that I feel like this is kind of maybe their first movie, and by their second or third movies, they're probably going to be making better movies. Let's hope so, because this one does have some flaws that I will point out, because I feel like this movie is not going to get reviewed by a lot of people, and I probably have some good insights into this thing, because I know the struggles of low-budget filmmaking, as you've all seen in my wonderful documentary, Disregard the Vampire, a Mike Messier documentary. So what did I find to be needing improvement? Well, first of all, there are no, as far as I could tell, no name actors in this thing, which is fine. I did find, from a male point of view, the female characters, actresses, were pretty attractive, very attractive. Maybe, a few women tattoos for my taste. I have tattoos, but I mean, these women had kind of the whole smothering of tattoos, maybe a little bit much. But they were all good. And I did feel like there's a part of this movie where initially the first 10 or 15 minutes, maybe just the first 10, we're subjected to basically a phone call scene where there's like two major couples in this film. The military guy, who's the human guinea pig, and his gal, it looks like they're going to get engaged. And then they're about to fornicate, and the phone rings. And this female character, every time the phone rings, she stops having sex with her military guy to answer the phone. And it kind of seems like, is this a commentary on just the world we're in? That this woman is so connected to her phone and her stupid friend on the other line on the phone that every time she's going to fornicate and the phone rings, she has to pick up the phone. But basically, she picks up the phone and it's this other couple, and suddenly we're in the midst of this, back and forth face camera phone conversation, FaceTiming, whatever the fuck. And here's the secret, folks. Phone calls are not cinematic. What does that mean, Mike? We live in a world where phones and texting and speaker phones, all this crap inundates us. Going to a movie just to watch other assholes on the phone and texting is not a fun experience. So to me, it's just cheap. It's just cheap and it's boring to go to a film, paying money for a ticket, and sitting there in a chair and watching people on the screen texting and phone calling because you don't fucking take the time or effort to write your little screenplay with characters actually interfacing in person with each other. So we go from that like group thing. Okay, that's one. I think the very next scene or close to it is the military man calling his doctor and having a phone call with his doctor. Pretty traditional phone call where it's like, the guy on the phone in his car and he's on his little speaker earpiece, and then the woman is in the science lab somewhere, and she's on her phone, and they're just having a back and forth phone call. So we've just went from a FaceTime camera scene with 4 characters. Now we're in a phone call scene with somebody else. Then I think the very next scene or close to it is the guy, I think it is the next scene. The guy's like leaving a military lab or he's got his prescription for his medication. He's leaving the pharmacy, and boop, 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 we get a bunch of text messages with him and his gal. So now we've had 3 scenes in a row where we've had technological communication. Can these characters meet with each other in person? Could the conversation happen between the guy and his girl, like in the same room talking to each other? I think it could have. To me, see, this is how I think differently. I just think it's laziness, because I just don't think people realize, yes, in real life, you text all the goddamn time. You FaceTime all the goddamn time. However, that does not translate to being a cinematic experience, okay? That translates to being just as goddamn boring as real life. So when you make a fucking movie, you want to give people a little bit more than real life, because real life is a boring piece of shit. So you make things exciting, or at least somewhat interesting, by having the characters interact with each other in person, not on the goddamn text messaging, for Christ's sakes. So let's move forth in this goddamn pyramid of shit. So then we move forward in this movie, and then we have all the 2 couples go off to some fucking lake house, you know what I mean? And let's play spades. Okay. So now we're playing spades, we're playing cards. And but the young female with her tattooed body declares, "Oh, I invited some other people to the party." Oh, okay, that's nice of you. Nice of you to make this arbitrary decision. And she's invited amongst all these 5 other people, which is basically a Benetton commercial of Friends. She's invited all these people, including her ex. Oh my goodness. So these people, I believe it's 3 girls and 2 boys, they come over and they're all drinking and partying. And our military man, it should be noted, cannot drink alcohol because that would mix poorly with his universal soldier medications, okay? So he's got to just drink water or whatever the fuck. And at this point, I'm thinking, why doesn't the military man just say, "Hey, Toots, I don't want these assholes at my fucking lodge for the weekend," or whatever the fuck. Can we just, either they leave or I leave? You know what I mean? But it's a character in a movie. He's not going to do that. So they tolerate these assholes, and it's a partying. And here's where another thing in this movie annoyed me. I feel like there was many scenes in this film where the director, who I think is also the star of this thing, or at least he's the star and the co-director, I believe they had a full script. It did feel like a structured movie to have a script, but I feel in many scenes they didn't keep the actors to the dialogue. It just felt very casual, and a lot of like handshaking and a lot of bro hugging and handshaking. And there's one scene where the two dudes like handshake each other 3 times in a fucking row. It's like, okay, we get the point. They're friends. So then we have these other schmuckabadoos, these other guys that have come to the party, and they're just, bro. They're saying bro every goddamn other word. I get it. That's what assholes do these days. But once again, it's not cinematic. See, there's a divide. There's a divide between what passes in real life for living and what's good on the film. So yes, it feels like real life, but real life sucks. You know what I mean? Like, you don't pay money to see real life. You go to the fucking convenience store, and there's the asshole buying cigarettes and the other asshole in the parking lot asking for a quarter. You don't put these you don't put those people on a movie screen. You leave them at the convenience store doing everyday goddamn horse shit. So this reality type of thing is not exciting to me. So then we get into this whole thing where these punks, these young'uns, who've come to this fucking house party are disrespecting the 2 male hosts by hitting on their women. And it's just kind of tolerated. Like, you know, and the military dude puts this Brock is the character. For some reason, I remember his name. He's kind of the Brian Pillman of the bunch. The kid's probably born, 20 years ago. The real life actor doesn't know who Brian Pillman is. But he's basically trying to do the crazy white boy, the local white boy, crazy white boy routine, the somewhat Brian Pillman and ECW routine. Not really convincing he was okay, but he's like hitting on the host's girl, and the host military man kind of puts him in a rear chin lock. But it's like, wouldn't that be the end of the fucking party? Like he called this girl a biatch, he called her a bitch, and then the military man puts him in like in a rear naked choke and makes him apologize. That's kind of the end of a party, isn't it? Like, if you're at a point at a party where the guy's disrespecting the hostess and then the boyfriend puts the dude in a rear naked choke lock, that's time to go home. Like, that's the end of the party, but not in this fucking movie. So, I don't know. A lot of times when these films, they go off to a fucking whatever the fuck, to a campground or whatever, it's like, oh my God, the cell phone doesn't work, or cell phone service doesn't work. Like, that's a good one these days, to get the phones out of the picture, but not in this movie, because their phones still work and people are still texting and horse shitting. And they use the phones as flashlights later on. There's also this kind of cute little Asian girl character, and she's like the wannabe Instagram princess who's always like, phoning herself. And earlier I said those 3 scenes, the FaceTiming, and then the fucking phone call, and then the fucking text bubbles, and then right after that, or very soon thereafter, is the Asian girl and her little white blondie friend doing their kind of live streaming fucking thing. And we actually do the point of view of, oh my God, we're doing the perspective of someone watching their live stream. Holy horse shit. So at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, is this a movie, a commentary on the overuse of technology? But no, it's not. It's basically, like I said, it's like the Universal Soldier film. Like can we make a super soldier? Can we fucking implant these soldier guys with a chip or a fucking programming to make them killers, or medicate them or whatever the fuck, but then we throw in okay, now you're at Camp Crystal Lake and you're all going to get killed. And we've seen that movie. Well, I mean, there was the one in like 2002, not I Know What You Did Last Summer, but like Cabin Fever, I think, and so on and so forth. So the point is, it's kind of like we've taken a mix and mash, and I'm sure these people have watched plenty of these films, and this is not so much homage. I just felt like it's kind of a Frankenstein monster of, here's a leg from this movie, here's an arm from that movie. like I said, I just feel like the fine folks who made this film are probably very high on themselves right now, and I'm probably shitting on their balloon, but that's fine. I'm trying to help. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, when you have your actors, the actors probably didn't take this too seriously. They probably didn't memorize the lines, and so when they probably got there to the set, that's why a lot of these scenes feel very improv, because the actors probably were way off book and just threw in a lot of bros and, a lot of horse shit filler dialogue, and then you have to decipher and edit this thing. Surprisingly, the movie had a pretty impressive end scene, battle scene, but it kind of came out of nowhere. It's like our military man guy has kind of lost his fucking mind because the alcohol and the medication didn't mix well, and so now he's got like the Rey Mysterio Jr. fucking color fucking contact lenses, and he's going crazy. And so the doctor kind of like just pushes a few buttons and sends another super soldier to terminate him. So then we have like this big fight scene, but our main guy there wins the fight scene. And so then like she's going to send another guy after him. And then the guy's like, his eyes glow up like Rey Mysterio Jr. And that's the end of the fucking movie. So it's like, oh yes, we need a sequel. Yes. No, we don't. We get the point. Make another film. Keep the tattooed chick. She was pretty hot. Maybe keep the Asian girl and the blondie, and then get rid of most of the men in this movie. They weren't that exciting. They weren't that good. But, it was fine. I mean, it's just, what can I say? I feel like I was watching something, like I said, that and they seem very committed to making movies because they enjoyed putting their names on the credits. So it's like, just make another movie, make it better, keep on working on your craft, all that horse shit that people say when the movie's not that good. Another thing that I saw that's another signaling is at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, okay, the movie's ended, but what you really need, folks, is you need a blooper reel in the end credits. I hate that. I hate movies that have a goddamn end credit scenario with bloopers, because the movie didn't satisfy you enough. Here's a spooning of bloopers. Please keep your bloopers. The other thing is, the bloopers were not funny. Like, the bloopers were not even like good bloopers. They were just like the actors couldn't remember their lines, or they were looking at the chick's breasts or something, and it's just, or the fucking cameraman was in the reflection, and oh my God, these were not good bloopers. They were pretty lame bloopers, quite honestly, quite frankly, Frank. So I just can't really, I mean, what was probably the highlight of my night was when I came into the theater here. A gentleman who worked at the theater said, hey, what are you going to see? And I said, I'm going to go see The Grove. It's not rated. And he said, oh, he said, I keep an eye on what movies you're seeing because you always go see the most interesting movies, which was a nice compliment. I didn't know I was being monitored by the fucking people at the movie theater, but that's okay. But basically, I'm trying to help this independent cinema out. Or this independent movie out. It's filmed in Georgia, happy horse shit. So I'm not going to go see this video game movie, whatever the fuck it is, the Warcraft movie or the Witchblade movie, whatever the fuck, this Minecraft horse shit. I have no interest. I don't care about Minions. I don't care about Minecraft. I don't care about SpongeBob. All your generation, fuck yourself, fucking pop culture can go into the ocean and drown for all I give a shit. I don't sit around and play video games. I don't watch other people on fucking Twitch play video games. It's a waste of my goddamn time to do such silliness. So I'm sitting there watching this film in an auditorium all by myself with my shoes off, cracking my neck, eating an apple that was in my car for a day and a half, and it's probably rotten, but I'm still eating it because I need the fiber. And I'm thinking, God, I wish this movie was just a little bit better so I can give it a nice, positive Mike's Instant goddamn movie review. And since these fine folks are filming only one state away in Georgia, maybe they could give their buddy Mike Messier a nice role in the next film, because I could act my ass better than these schmucks, these 20-something fucks who probably never taken an acting class in their goddamn lives, and they're just holding, just on the screen, but not doing anything interesting. But that's just me, folks. That's your buddy Mike Messier, Mike's Instant goddamn movie review. The Grove you can skip. I do feel like there's potential for better films from these fine folks. Oh, the best thing about the movie was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was actually quite good. I don't know if that's available anywhere, but it's a compilation of modern, I don't know if you call it pop or soul or whatever the fuck, songs, good songs